black Hebrew Israelites. Hell to the no. See through parasites. So that was me 6 months ago. You know, Revelation 3:22 says, "He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying." He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying. I didn't want to hear it. From my understanding and in my ignorance, I had been connected to absolute truth for 28 years. I didn't want to hear it. You couldn't tell me that anything contrary to this word that I had been reading, that word that I had been reading since 1997, wasn't the absolute truth. You couldn't tell me that his original name was not JC. You couldn't tell me that LORD was just a title that was placed on him in an attempt to remove the original origins of the true name of our Messiah and Father. You couldn't tell me that God was the same. You couldn't tell me nothing. I didn't want to hear it. The Father had to reveal this truth to me straight from his throne, and he did. And when he did, I was enlightened and I was woke up. See, when you accept the truth, it doesn't stop there, because you have to be deprogrammed. In other words, everything that you learned prior to that, you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to sift through all of the lies, find out what is the truth, and then start living that truth. So a lot of times, and this is what's going on with a lot of people, because a lot of people know the truth, but they refuse to accept it because they don't want the change that comes with it. At the very moment that you know who his real name is and what his real name is, you cannot continue to live according to the Christian doctrine. Because the Christian doctrine tells you that you are under grace and you do not have to follow the laws of Messiah. And that's a lie. That's so far from the truth. And a lot of people are perishing knowing the truth. See, what's going to happen is the Father is going, on your day, when you're face to face with the Father, he's going to ask you, what did you do with the truth? And you're not going to be able to say you didn't know it. If you come across one person's video that's telling you that the name is the truth, this is the real name, that's telling you that you have to follow the laws and commandments, you cannot just live any old way thinking that you're going to make it in. You cannot celebrate pagan holidays because the Father tells us don't do it. What you going to do? I couldn't gamble with that. I was not willing to take that chance. When it was exposed to me, I took it and I ran with it. And then, out of an act of obedience to what Yahuwah has shown me, he's opening up to me. And I'm grateful. Word to the wise, to anybody who does not know this truth, that thinks that they're in the right situation as far as the Father's concerned, you're not. Do your research. Get up out of that. Do your research. This truth was not presented to you just for you to blow it off. Have an ear and hear what the Spirit is saying to you on this day. have an ear.
All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS. Shalom to the hopefully elect. All right, and this video is going to be entitled Response, Hebrew Israelite Parasites, with a subtitle of This Truth Beat Me Down. Okay? The Truth Beat Me Down. Hebrew Israelite Parasites. And it's a two-part title because this guy in the video, he gives a testimony, right? And he shows in the beginning himself 6 months ago saying he would never be a part of the Hebrew Israelites. And then fast forward to now, he says that the truth, he didn't say it in so many words, but basically the truth wore him down. It beat him down. Now, I'm going to start off by saying, you know, he got the name wrong. But hey, the dude only been knowing the truth 6 months. The name Yahuwah is not the name of the Heavenly Father, okay? There's no U's in Paleo Hebrew, period. A lot of you are saying that's the name of the Lord, but it's not. And you just got to learn, you know. We give you grace on that. But you got to get that corrected. If you see this video, to the guy in the video, you basically, you know, you're going off for that name you're calling on. And you can see, too, he's still got a little soft exterior. Because you jakes, and the way he making it sound as though it's something he did once he was willing to open his mind and accept it. No, it ain't really got nothing to do with you. This is all about predestination. And you're going to have many more people out there who trying to harden themselves, who don't want to get the truth. And it's slowly going to beat you down. It's going to beat you up, and you're going to wind up coming into the truth. This is a guy right here. I did a video on him yesterday. This guy, Jim Green, as soon as I come outside. This guy, Jim Green, he was one like that. And he's still like that now. This guy, Jim Green, he been trying to go against the Hebrew Israelite for quite some time, right? But what wound up happening to him? Slowly, he's getting beat up with the truth. The much as he try to go against it, the more he starts to go with it. You know why? Because it's the truth. Because it is the truth. So, you know, like I said, if you listen to this video he did yesterday, or the video I did on him yesterday, what do you notice about it? First, if you go back through his videos over the months, even though he's concerned and heartbroken over Esau, you know, he started out with a little Christian madness, but then now he even saying shalom now. And he begging and pleading with the Israelites. He said, my people, the black and brown people. See, you don't really understand that a lot of you jakes, you're going to try to go against the truth like you've been doing. And eventually the truth going to uppercut. It's going to beat you all up. And then the Most High, if you're of the elect, he going to bring you on in. You know? And we got many opponents to this truth, but you can't fight for so long. Now, I'll say this much. This Jake right here, a lot of you learning the truth, but you don't have the 100% truth, though. You ain't getting the 100% truth. You're getting the truth, but you ain't getting the 100% truth. And that's going to make a big difference, because if you notice, back when he was going against the truth, he had more hair on his face there, right there, than he got now. So he got to come up on the level and learn more, but we're just using him as an example, because this truth is about predestination. It ain't about nothing you're doing. Let's go there real quick. Let's get Ephesians chapter 1, verse 1. All right. And this is going to be basic scriptures, of course. Ephesians 1, verse 1. It says, Paul, an apostle of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, by the will of the Most High, to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Now, this is back then during that time, and this is written to the church that was at Ephesus. Okay, the church at Ephesus, which were Israelites, right, from among the Ephesians. They had been scattered among the Ephesians. All right, now verse 4, if you listen, and we'll start at 3, it says, Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in the anointed, according as he had chosen us in him before the foundation of the world. See that? So the elect is already pre-chosen. And some of the elect are hardened right now. They don't want to hear about the truth. They think they're better than the Israelites. They still following the Christian rules. And that's why it's so important that we make these videos, that we do the lessons, that we be on the highways and hedges, because they got to hear the truth. All they need to do is hear it. See, contrary to popular belief, these Christians and these opponents of ours, the enemies, they think they have embedded their little agents and done shit. They could just slow down the truth. You can't slow down the truth. It's already been decided in advance who is going to come into it and who's going to receive it. As long as the Lord got these vessels that's out here preaching it and teaching it, you ain't going to be able to stop the elect. He's already chosen the elect beforehand. So good luck, monkeys. According as he had chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. Look at this. Having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahushua HaMashiach to himself according to the good pleasure of his will. This is all about his will. It ain't got nothing to do with what you're doing. You have no control over this. This is the NLT. The Most High decided in advance to adopt us into his own family by bringing us to himself through Yahushua HaMashiach. Once Yahushua died on the cross, that was part of it. And that's why when he left, he said, it is done. When he got ready to go, when he got ready to die, he said, it is done. Because he had accomplished his purpose. His purpose would be was to be the bridge, the doorway back to the Father for the Israelites. And so many of you missed that. That's because, why? You ain't got the Spirit. The Most High decided in advance to adopt us into his own family by bringing us to himself through Yahushua HaMashiach. This is what he wanted to do, and it gave him great pleasure. See, so that's what the Lord did. Now, let's go to Romans 11. And we always read this, and we actually go to verse 5. We'll start at 4. It says, but what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved. That's a big word. Small word, but it's big. I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Right. Even so then, at this present time also, there is a remnant according to the election, another big word, election of grace. So you got all these Christians hollering about, we under grace, we under grace. You ain't under no grace because you're not even included in this unless you're an Israelite. The Israelites are under grace, but under that grace, as you heard this man mention, he said that, you got the Christian doctrine this whole time. They're telling you you're under grace, not knowing you got to keep the commandments. Well, you got to keep the commandments too, to the best of your ability, but the grace covers you because we're not able to physically keep all the commandments. So yeah, we under grace. But while we under grace, you also still have to pay attention to the Lord's, to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua's word, which is the commandments are a part of it. Now, this dude here, as a lot of Israelites make that error, you talk about the commandments, and meanwhile, you can grow a beard and you don't have one. You know why? Because you're still under the vibration of Yahuwah, which is a false god. If he had any hair, he would have long hair because the Most High, that false god, allows them to do that. It allows them to have that. So he got to shed that. You got to come up more on the level. And he will. Lord, I'm confident that a lot of these jakes, you just got to get around the camps, man. Get around these soft-ass feminine Israelites on the internet. You're going to learn as much as you can learn, then you're going to hit the wall. When you want the deeper mysteries, you got to go and learn from the brothers in the camps. Because them damn Yahuwah Israelites, them Yah Israelites, they're not really on the level. They're awakened to the truth, but they're not born again, many of them. All of them, I'll say. So again, Romans 11 and 5, even so then, at this present time also, there is a remnant according to the election of grace. And if by grace, then it is no more of works. So while we under grace, we talk about keeping the law to the best of our ability, but it's not by your works, according to the law, that you're going to be saved. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. Here's the key. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. And this is the thing. You're going to be blinded until Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua deems that you won't be blinded. You can try to fight against the truth all you want to, but the Spirit of the Lord is going to overpower you. If you belong to the Lord, He's going to overpower you, man, right? He's going to do it by different means and methods. Every man is different. What happened with Jonah? Jonah tried to go the opposite of what the Lord wanted to do, and he had him get swallowed up. I myself tried to, take my time, learning the truth, do what I want to do. And what the Lord do, have me get cast into jail, right? Got on probation. They had the promise, which, it was all a plan. The Lord lured me and pulled me in. Apostle Gabar tells the same story. I tell the story like his. He said that he messed around. He knew the truth. He was bullshitting around, and the Most High had him get locked up in jail. And he said he knew full well while he was in jail. Same with me. I knew the truth what I was doing when I was, out there in the world being dumb. But the Lord had my ass get grabbed up. I got cast in the jail. And you be in there, you making that promise to the Lord. If you get me out of this, I promise I'll serve you from now on. And ever since he got me out of it, I've been serving him ever since. Ever, or every since, however you say it. Most people say ever since. You see? So this Jake right here, he just got to learn, but I'm using him as the backdrop because the Lord going to do what he want to do. Everybody belongs to him anyway, right? It's all about what lot you fall under. Let's get Romans. And again, the object is predestination. This is Romans 8. And I'm going to jump right ahead, verse 24. It says, for we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why does he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. Let's jump down. Verse 28, it says, and we know that all things work together for good. You know what? And I'm sorry. Let's go back to 27. It says, and he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is in the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Right. You see that? So the Lord going to take who he want. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. You see it? So, when you come into this truth, it's because why? You were predestinated to do so. And it ain't got nothing to do with you. So there's going to be a great many that try to resist. But if it's in your story for you to come into the truth, you're going to come. If it's in your story for you to go out of the truth, you're going to go. And nobody can save you that's meant to be destroyed, and nobody can destroy you that's meant to be saved. So, call us Hebrew Israelite parasites or whatever. This truth going to beat you down. So we'll see you soon, Lord willing. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.